Got a good thing coming, and it's all I need. Everything I wanted is in front of me. Stuck it up in the dark, sun is shining over me. I got a good thing coming, just wait and see. It's a good.
Welcome back to the Coaching Corner. My name's Nancy and I'm here today with my awesome co-host Janine. Hi Jay.
And hello everybody. Hello Nancy.
How's it going?
It's going great. Today's really great. Tell us how you're going and tell us what we're talking about.
Well, today I'm going really well because I've just spent the last 3 weeks working on my nervous system. So what a strange thing, huh? Working on my nervous system. So today's topic, as you can guess, is about really why you self-sabotage and your kids play up, and we've got the fix for it, and it's got to do with the nervous system. So, What is the nervous system?
I'm going to just read something. Have you ever known exactly what to do? Like you've read the books, you've done the courses, you know the affirmations, and yet you still procrastinate, or you still undercharge for your services, or you still choose the wrong kind of partner again and again. You still sabotage the very thing that you say you want. This is typical of many people. Now, what if the problem isn't your strategy? It's actually your nervous system. So we're talking about things like children playing up and sabotaging your outcomes, but not coming from, let's deal with the sabotage. We're saying, let's deal with the root cause. And the root cause is actually your nervous system. So some of the content we're going to share today is by an incredibly wonderful teacher on the planet. I really highly recommend, if you haven't heard of Philip Andrews, he also calls himself the abundance alchemist.
Yes.
He does wonderful nervous system mastery courses and things like that. And of course, Louise Hay, and Nancy and I are both Louise Hay certified coaches and workshop facilitators. And Louise Hay's work might not be labeled as nervous system courses or mastery courses, but when you're dealing with your inner child wounds, you are regulating and helping your nervous system.
Absolutely.
So you want to...
So the nervous system is really a template. So it keeps you safe, right? So it's like automatically your mind bounces back to when you're feeling safe. It makes you map it all back way when you're in the womb, and of course your programming which is 0 to, I say, 7.
7, yeah.
Yeah. So we generally have, if you're the type of person, I'm going to explain how I was, or how I was after doing certain things. So I've done Louise Hay, I've done a lot of work on myself because I can only use myself as a protege type thing. So I did all this work, and then I sat down one day and I realized, why am I still angry? Why do my kids really tick me off? What's going on there? Like, I've done so much work. I should be so good by now. And we shouldn't say that. I should say I, could be different now. But I really got to thinking, what's really going on? And just with awareness, and of course, the universe has given me some direction. Janine mentioned the Nervous System Mastery course that I'm currently doing by Philip Andrew, and I realized that it all comes from past patterning, past behavior. Whatever trauma I went through has gotten me to where I am today, makes me feel. So I get angry from very, very much, not just from my kids, from past patterning. So working on my nervous system has allowed me to be so calm and really approach every single, whether it's a debate with a child or whether it's a situation or an environment, with this real, very eerie calmness. It's almost like I'm not affected by this. And can I tell you that it literally happened after the first week of doing this course? Literally. Within 1 week, I was different. So it's really important to not beat yourself up. We're all working through stuff and we're all on our path to self-development. But it's just interesting how our brain wants to see us safe and perhaps not, let's just use for an example, successful. If we're wanting to make more money, it may see that as a threat. If we're wanting to leave our partner, for example, but we don't feel safe in doing so because that might mean that we've got to do things on our own, or we've got to navigate a whole different, life. You know what I mean? So we want to stay in the safe zone because our nervous system wants us to keep us safe.
Mm.
Yeah?
Yeah, so in summary, the way that it's been put here, I just love these words. The nervous system's job is to keep you safe, not successful. So really, when we are small kids, every time that we got really affected by a feeling of abandonment or rejection or seriously hurt or very, very sad, or a child cries for something that really emotionally affected them, the nervous system almost like a video recorder, and it records that particular feeling and these particular stimuli with this scenario. And if you didn't like it, it's like the subconscious mind just says, okay, we must avoid these kind of situations for the rest of our lives. Never let's go there again. So if a child was very happy loving its parent, for example, and then, they had to quickly go to a doctor's appointment, and they said, hold on, here, give the baby to the dad or the auntie or the granny or the babysitter, and the mother left. It seems like a normal scenario for a person, mom who's busy.
Yeah.
But the child's experience suddenly was, when I get so close and feel love, I suddenly get abandoned. And it maps those two things in the brain. So as you grow up, you're in relationships, and whenever you get very close with your partner, you suddenly get a feeling of anxiety and your cortisol rises, and you feel you need to leave now, or you can't leave because there's no reason to leave, so you cause a fight. Not consciously, subconsciously. So it gives you the opportunity to leave. Or you muck up in the relationship, not consciously, subconsciously, because when you leave, it's the pattern that said, never let's get too close again, and that's how I'm going to stay safe. So that's a typical example, and this happens also with money. So if we ever lost money in our lives, there was a time just before we lost the money that we actually had the money. And then we had the money, and then we lost the money. So as long as we just stay without changing anything, we feel safe. But the minute we make more money, our brain maps it to, we're in an area now where you have money. It reminds us of when we just suddenly lost it, and then it says, no, get rid of all this extra money. Let's go back to the safe zone where you had X amount of money. Let's just say that number is like an index, 100. You feel safe. But the minute you go to 110, 115, it must bring it back to 100. And if you make less money and you go to like 85, the nervous system also kicks in and says, this isn't safe, and it helps you make money and you get back to 100. The problem is not that when you go lower and you come back, the problem is when you go higher than your thermostat, it reels it back. And the same goes for children who play up. So children who play up are unregulated. And when their nervous system is unregulated, please understand, they cannot even hear you. You can be talking to explain something, and for them, it's just sound on the outside, because their whole body is going through a cortisol flood, adrenaline flood. The prefrontal cortex doesn't work. The middle of the brain doesn't work. They're only operating from fight or flight. However, if a child has these moments and then gets a lot of soothing afterwards, the brain also maps that, by the way, and they find that they combine everything. So there's so many scenarios we could give you, but the point is, it comes back to our nervous system, as Nancy said, template, which says in this scenario I'm safe, in this scenario I'm unsafe. And we have to break out of that mold. Otherwise, the patterns of your infancy will repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, and you'll never get out of them. And we do want to improve our lives and get different results. And to get different results, you're going to be out of your comfort zone. Your set point will be shifted, and you will get into a feeling of anxiety. And the only way to deal with that is to learn how to regulate your nervous system.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I guess that's also, the nervous system is from your past. It's your past experiences, and it learns what's safe, like you were saying, Jay. It's also a trigger is from your past experiences and your moments, and it's been triggered and it's been reactivated when your nervous system goes a bit crazy. So let's go back to the story when I said I asked myself, why am I always angry? It's a trigger. So it could be someone doing something, and it could be so small. I'm triggered, I get angry, and my nervous system only knows that as safe. So here I am, I'm stuck in this loop, right? So that's and triggers do that, don't they? They're not real. A trigger isn't something that's actually happening to you. It brings up a memory, a feeling. We are an energy body, so we are a feeling body. We don't actually go on anything else other than our feelings. And it's really important to know that it's not real. The trigger is not real. It's just the feeling. Your brain maps it and says, hey, I remember this feeling and I don't like it, and I'm going to get triggered.
Yeah. So the body doesn't actually respond to reality.
No.
It responds to what it remembers from childhood. There was this incredible story of a man who was, when he was about 2 years of age, as a small baby, the father left and the mother suddenly had to go to work, and she just like said, here's my 2-year-old child, hey sister or auntie, can you look after him? And she went off to survive and really earn money to feed him and her. But the child was very unhappy with this sudden change, and the mother was gone. So that mapped something, and his nervous system didn't like it, so he went through some trauma there. So for the rest of that man's life, women that he got close to, that he loved, at a deep subconscious level, the nervous system is this like memory template, like this program that's been set that says, when you're close to a woman that you love, you're going to be abandoned. So he ruined every relationship he got into by sabotaging it somehow, some way, and made sure that he messed it up just in case she left him. Because the nervous system was so terrified of him ever experiencing that feeling of abandonment like he had when he was 2, he wanted to avoid it at all costs.
So that was a trigger.
Yes, it was the trigger. So he had to ruin the relationship instead of allowing the opportunity to ever arise where she could potentially leave him. And every one of those women said to him, I don't want to leave you. Why do you keep saying? Because he used to say, I know you're going to leave me. I know you're going to leave me. You know how awful that is when the person's not wanting to leave you. And you keep hearing it. It's like, don't you trust me? Don't you believe in me? It actually ruins trust. It ruins the relationship. And eventually mucked up so badly that they did end up parting. But that was from his 2-year-old self operating as an adult man. So this is real serious stuff. And unless we look at our triggers and our fears, and every time we get the feeling of anxiety, so maybe Nance, maybe you got a couple of points on how a person feels. Where do you feel it in your body? I know that you also
But when you're triggered,
like when you, yes, like, you know, you can say, I feel it in my chest, or I feel it in my gut, or
well, a great way to do this, when I'm a big believer in being aware. I think that's the core of everything. If you are aware and you are really noticing what's going on in your body, you get a very good idea of what's going on around you. And until you are aware, you've got no clue. You're just running on autopilot. And most of us are or were. So if you have an awareness, right now I'm triggered. I'll give an example. Say I have a wound of maybe being, criticized from a parent or a teacher. So, for example, if Janine gives me feedback on something and I say, hey, can you take a look at this? And she gives me feedback, or even if I don't tell her, take a look at this, and she just gives me feedback. If I'm very triggered and I'm wired that way, like I have that problem with feeling that I'm going to be criticized, I will take her feedback as criticism.
yeah, and then get very offended.
Yep.
And then it comes across, it can ruin the communication because it can come across as dismissive of, this is business. Okay, I'm not picking on your person, this is business. And if we prefer this to be done this way and not this way, it's business. But if the person feels criticized, they get defensive. If a person is defensive, you've already got ineffective communication. And I feel the person's dismissing the, like, do you respect your work? Do you respect? Everything goes south. You can hear, and it's not actually real. None of this is real. It's not real threatening in the present moment. It's responding to what the body remembers from very small child.
So when that happens, if I'm not aware, hey, something's happening here, so my body might go like this. I might have racing heart, okay? I might feel very tight in my chest. I might feel even this. I might even feel like I want to run and hide.
Okay, now I think Nancy needs to elaborate on run and hide and explain what would make one individual want to run and hide when another individual wouldn't.
So it's all very different. As you said, it's from your programming age. So 0 to 7. I may have deemed that, well, I think it would be shame. I would label that shame. I would feel like, oh my God, I've made a mistake.
You want to hide.
So I want to hide. So it's not the adult me, the 55-year-old me. It's the, child me, 4-year-old, 3-year-old.
You're not 55. You only look 26, but
Thank you. You're my favorite person today. So it's the young child me that wants to, because we are always operating from that level when we are triggered. Okay? When grown men and women don't have tantrums. It's the child you that has the tantrum. And that's perfectly fine if you pick it up. But if you do not pick it up, if you have no clue, you will live your life like this and you will alienate everyone around you, and you'll run your nervous system. You'll be run on that, nothing else. You won't be able to treat things as constructive criticism, or I'm feeling abandoned now because the child me, thinks that my partner is, for example, you're texting your partner doesn't answer the text. By now you're like, okay, what's going on? Maybe there's something wrong with me.
Now you're triggered.
I'm triggered, and then it escalates, and some strange people actually drive to their partner's work and says, what's going on? You won't reply to my... This is the extreme version. That's the child you that feels abandoned. Mm-hmm. So all of it is enmeshed. It all comes together that way. So when you said to me, what happens? There's a multitude of things that happens to your body because you are a feeling person.
Mm-hmm.
So heart rate, chest tightening. Some people, they get a lump in their throat. Some people want to run and hide.
A feeling in the gut.
Feeling in the gut, nervousness. Some people can actually throw up, get quite sick, or the opposite end, have a runny tummy. There's so many things, and it's just
a bit hot.
Your physiology completely changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So understanding and awareness, what's happening right now, and just take the time to acknowledge something's not right within me is the first step, okay, I would say. Now, you cannot regulate your child unless you've regulated yourself.
Your child is in your actual kids at home, or your inner child? You're talking
about? Your children at home, because we're talking,
right. Yeah. Like being a better parent.
Yes. So I wanted to include that in, because then someone might say, well, how if I see my child doing this? Well, they're in your energy field. When you are calm and very much your nervous system is regulated, you can hug your child and you'll find instantly that they will just
calm down.
Now, I happened to have this happen late last week, and I was in a meeting. One of my children came to the door, was very stressed and anxious, and was almost hyperventilating, couldn't breathe properly. So I hugged her and breathe from me, and I was breathing from my belly, and I was just thinking in my head, just calmness, love, just really just breathing from my belly, having that parasympathetic nervous system. And I noticed that her breathing went from can you see what happens when you're calm? Person in your energy field becomes really calm. So you cannot regulate your child's nervous system unless yours is regulated first.
Can I just add that is actually one of the key benefits of having a coach or a therapist. When you come to them with anything in your life that you can't handle, you're talking to a person who's very present and very regulated and very calm themselves. And when you sit with someone, no matter what's going on in your life and no matter what you're unpacking, that is already regulating you. It's almost like a healing presence. That's why coaches are so effective. Some people pay coaches, even if they don't have that much to, like maybe they've got over their major stuff, but they still carry on with the coaching relationship, nothing major happening. They want it because that is an opportunity in their life to always bring, themselves, whether their best self or not their best self, to the presence of someone who's calm and regulated, just the way Nancy was talking about a parent doing that. So the first thing I'd say, for a person to help their self-sabotaging behaviors, mucking up in relationships, messing up if you make more money than you've normally made, and trying to expand your abundance ceiling, so to speak, or a person wants to become a better public speaker, but every time they have the opportunity to go live or to speak somewhere, they actually mess that up and avoid the opportunity because of this fear of public speaking. All these things that are holding you back, and maybe you want to start your own business or start a podcast or a video Instagram channel, I don't know, whatever it is, but you keep not doing it. It's not because you're not capable of doing it. It's because your nervous system won't allow you to go there because it deems it as not safe. Remember, I said the body is designed to keep you safe, not necessarily successful. So the first tip we want to give, we're going to have more on this in another episode of the Coaching Corner, where we actually give you some tips and techniques on specifically how to do with this and to understand the nervous system regulation in a much deeper way. This is really just, honestly, tip of the iceberg we're talking here
Just
today.
scratching the surface.
Scratching the very surface. But the one thing you can do is just this. It's 3 steps. The minute the feeling comes in your body, what Nancy was saying, whether it's heart rate, or you get hot, or you feel starting to sweat somewhere behind your neck, or this feeling like something just hit you in the gut, that terrible fear, any of these things, that something's happening in the physiology of the body, the first step is to notice it. The second step is just to take a breath deep in the lower belly and pause just for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then do your very best to do something different to what you normally would do when you react. This is what we call respond. So if you normally say or think, oh, this person doesn't love me, that's why they've done this, or I'm being criticized for my work, or someone has to leave and you think, oh, they don't care, they're leaving me
They
now.
won't answer my text.
Yeah, you don't answer my text, you don't love me, right? That's the reaction of the inner child. So you notice, you pause and take a breath and hold for at least 3 seconds, and then you do your best to respond from what we call the adult version of you, not the child version of you. And a good thing might be to ask a question and get curious, as opposed to react and criticize and just assume you don't love me, you're criticizing me. That's just assuming. But to ask a question would be, are you busy right now that you're not answering my text, or did something happen today where you caught up with something? What were you doing when I was trying to get hold of you that I didn't hear from you? Or say what you want, like this. I'd really appreciate it if you could just check your text at least once every hour or two. I just don't like it if it goes on for 2 to 3 hours and I haven't heard back from you. I feel this, I feel that, I feel whatever. I'd really love it if.
Yeah, the I language is
the
great.
I language. And in the example of getting feedback and being criticized, the feeling comes up, notice, pause, 1, 2, 3, and then choose a different response. Maybe it's, I'm not being criticized. My work could be better. If this was my business, would this be something I'd also like to see improved? And you can tell, obviously, yes, it is. It's not about me being personal. It's not a personal attack on me. And then ask a question, whatever the question may be. What exactly would you like to see? I'm sure, could I have another opportunity to redo this for you? Whatever it may be.
Now, in all of that, I like to put pen to paper. Actually, when something like that happens to me, or has happened in the past, I go away to a private area. It could be your room, or just if you're at work, just step outside a bit, take a pen and paper with you, and write down, what am I feeling? Okay? Is it abandonment? Is it criticism? Is it fear? Is it whatever
Shame.
it is? Yeah, shame. Whatever. Like, try and pick a couple of words and write it down. And where am I feeling it? And then if you could close your eyes and surf back to when you maybe first felt it. If you don't know when, that's okay. Take that with you, and that evening, when you've got a chance to sort of unwind and read what you've written, you get a better understanding what's going on. And if you can find out from what age this happened, you can fix it. If you don't know what age this happened, you can still fix it. It's just a matter of, I guess, going a bit deeper. And when I say going deeper, it's an opportunity to talk about Louise Hay, because we do a lot of her work. We not only coach, we run the 2-day program, and where we go deeper into what our childhood programming was like.
I just want to also say, when Nancy said, step out and think of what you're feeling. Sometimes it is an emotion, which is good, but sometimes it's a narrative. So I always ask my coaching clients, in that moment, or even if Nancy says she's triggered, what's the narrative? What's the sentence in your head? It could be, you don't love me. It could be,
I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough. It could be,
I can never get it right.
go on.
Sorry.
She said, I can never get it right. Okay. So you find the narrative. And what Nancy said, you kind of hold that feeling, close your eyes, hold the feeling, try and access that feeling. Then imagine you can surf that feeling like a wave. You're a surfer on a surfboard. You've got this wave of this feeling. Surf the wave as if you're going back in time and see what memories you bump into. You will find more than one memory and actually start writing them down and tell yourself, I want to remember the earliest memory of this feeling I can possibly remember. It'll come up.
But not always.
Yes.
If it doesn't come up, there must be some trauma around there.
Perhaps, yes.
Okay. I mean, I can tell from myself, there's some memories I can't remember as a kid. So I know that something is going on, and that's for another show.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that it's not a bad thing. If you can't remember, please don't beat yourself up about it. The fact that you actually acknowledge that there's something going on inside of you is the first step to healing.
Yes. Now, in the Louise Hay 2-day workshop that Nancy and I both certified in by Louise Hay and we run, it's called Love Yourself, Heal Your Life. I'm going to just explain a technique, but I'm telling you now, this means absolutely nothing if you listen to it, but it means everything if you do it. If you imagine this feeling, I can never get it right, or I'm not loved. The way to actually heal this wound and heal it permanently, that you can get free from this affliction of feeling this feeling every time someone gives you feedback, for example, or if someone's late to reply to you, get this terrible trigger, is to what we call reparent yourself. So you actually got to go to the mirror and look into your own eyes, and you've got to tell yourself, as if you're talking to your own 4-year-old version of yourself, your own inner child, and you speak to the mirror as if you're speaking to your own 4-year-old self, and tell it what you really wanted it to hear when you were 4 years of age and you had this terrible feeling come up. So you got to reparent yourself. So all of us have got an inner parent, inner adult, and inner child. Your inner parent needs to reparent your inner child. So go in front of the mirror, like let's say it's Nancy with the feedback, and let's say she got very triggered. She could go home, look at the mirror and say, it's okay. I know you were really doing your best. None of us always get everything right. Every single person on the planet makes a mistake, and that's okay. I allow you to make mistakes whilst learning. Again, I allow you to make mistakes while learning. As long as you learn from every experience, that's fine. And you're going to do better tomorrow. So I just want to say, well done that you always show up. Well done that you could sit there and take the feedback. And I really am so grateful that you're getting better and better every day. Learning to take feedback on as an opportunity to grow. You're not being criticized. You're perfect just as you are. But of course, we can all get better and better. Just a simple kind of conversation along those lines. And suddenly you'll feel all the soothing. And now you become the resource in your life and stop needing it from the outside world. Because this is what the trigger is from. If I said, oh, your work is amazing and I praise you, I am the inner parent parenting the wounded inner child. And if I said, this is actually incorrect, could you do it differently? Now I'm triggered because the inner parent is hurting the inner child. It's up to me to fix Nancy? No. If Nancy does the mirror work and she fixes her own inner child, she won't get hurt by anyone's feedback and it'll never sound like criticism again. So this is the way that we do mirror work to heal the inner child. That's one excellent technique.
That's one technique out of so many that we do.
But it's so powerful.
Absolutely, mirror work.
And I take everything to the mirror.
Yes, every mirror work changed how I view everything, really. It's a conversation that you have in the mirror that you can't have with perhaps your mum or your dad or your partner or your child. So on that note, when we heal the original emotional wound, okay, we actually calm the nervous system and it no longer needs to, react in the same way. We don't need to have that reaction. And it's so true. As I've going on now. I'm on week 4 on this beautiful and most amazing program, and I've told everybody about it actually, is the fact that that wound doesn't resurface. I don't feel a trigger from that wound.
So you become less defensive, but sometimes it doesn't always go away completely. It might show itself, but you do definitely become less. And I've seen a total change in you, Nance.
Yeah. So the whole point is the benefits of the nervous system healing is when your nervous system feels safe, everything changes. And it does. There's things in your life that changes. There's conversations that you would have had maybe a month ago with a person and you would have taken it a whole lot differently. You are much calmer. You are much more stable. And when you're calmer, you come from a different perspective. There's this element of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you feel very empowered.
I like to call it, this is me, calm confidence.
That's it. Good girlie. Calm confidence. And people actually look at you different. They respect you. You listen to, you are acknowledged, and you have a lot of power in there because you're not losing your shit, so to speak.
Yes. And you know how nice it is to speak to a person. You can say anything to them and they don't get defensive. You know people in your life like that. And then you also know people, no matter what you say to them, you're always walking on eggshells because they are so reactive. They get so defensive that interacting with that person honestly becomes not a safe space. And in your interpersonal relationships, whether that's with friends, significant partner, kids, parents, family, associates at work, if you are a very, that person's very sensitive and they're very reactive and they're always defending themselves, you eventually don't want to tell them much at all, which is terrible. The communication becomes so inauthentic because a person's afraid of offending the person because they are so reactive. So can you imagine if that person just did some nervous system regulation and healing the inner child? Yeah. What a wonderful, think of the people in your life who never do that to you. You can tell them anything. You can say to them, when you did this and that, I was really hurt and I felt so unhappy when you said that thing or whatever. And they listen and they really listen. And then they even validate you and they say, wow, when I never did that thing or I didn't text you back, I can see how affected you were by that. I'm really sorry. I'll be more aware to do that again. That soothes your nervous system. That is healing in itself. So to be that for other people, you become a wonderful healing presence, and your presence actually becomes a way to heal other people who are unregulated. The same that you were hugging your daughter, yes. You became the healing presence and energy with her daughter, and then you help that person by giving them the very same tips. So you notice when you're triggered, you pause, you breathe in, deep into the lower belly, count, hold at least to 3, and then choose a way to respond.
Consciously.
Yeah. Right? Do what Nancy said. Make a note of that thing and the narrative in your head. I'm not loved, or I can never get this right, or I'm feeling criticized, or whatever the wound is. I'm not good enough, something like that. And then you go and talk to your inner child in the mirror to help heal that inner child.
You know what else the nervous system helps with?
Go.
Money.
Yes, of course.
Right? Because you want to be seen. You want to go out there and take action. You receive more money because you are open and you don't have that fear. So it's really strange. While we think the nervous system is for emotions and how to deal with people, you wouldn't think it was about receiving money, but it is. It opens the doors to so many opportunities.
Absolutely.
You are a different person. You are in a receiving mode. You're in a calm mode. You're in a loving mode. You love yourself more.
Yeah. Can I just say that also, this might sound a bit strange, just take it and put it on your mental shelf and do some research if you wish. We are all actually addicts. Every single person on the planet is addicted to the feeling they feel most often. So this is why lottery winners lose the money they make within 2 years. They've got nothing to show for it, and they're often worse off financially than they were before, is because they're so used to worrying about money to a certain level of income. Let's say the amount of income is X, and you've had that most of your life, and you don't have enough to do all these other things, but you can get by, and you have the feeling, oh, can I afford it? Can I do this? And suddenly you get millions on top of that. Did you know that your nervous system now suddenly feels fear and anxiety? You think, why would a person be anxious about receiving millions in dollars of money when they're always struggling and they're broke, because they're addicted to the feeling of struggle and broke. They're addicted to the feeling of struggling and worrying about money. The feeling you feel day in and day out is chemistry in the body. That's what a feeling is. Every cell feeds on that chemistry, and every day you feed it, it becomes addicted to it. So if you got rid of the worrying about money, you gave millions to the person, the whole nervous system goes into anxiety. And if they lose the money and come back to worrying, it's familiar. That's what the comfort zone is. So this is really important about money. We have to expand our capacity to receive by continuously telling ourselves it's safe. I went on a money course, and I remember we had to write with our left hand and our right hand until our hand ached. We had to write like 100 statements. Man, your hand is so sore. And then you got to keep writing, because if you keep writing through pain, the subconscious and nervous system says, wow, this is really important to you. You'll even do it through pain. And what were we writing? It is safe to earn X amount of money. It is safe. Like, let's say it's millions you want. It is safe to earn X amount of millions. It is safe to earn. It is safe. It is safe. It is safe.
I say that quite often.
Yeah. Nervous system regulation mastery is conditioning yourself to feel safe, to receive more love, to receive more money, to receive more health, more friends, more good relationships, more opportunities, more spirituality, everything in your life. Yeah.
Okay, now let's get on quickly to the kids and their nervous system.
Sure.
We'll touch that briefly because, I do want to talk about that. So this is really important for parents. If you are around children quite a bit, it could be even teachers and caregivers and all that sort of stuff. Then children's nervous system is triggered by yelling, screaming, communicating that way, unpredictability, conflict between maybe parents, conflict in the house, feeling criticized, not good enough, all those sort of things.
Pressure to perform at school.
Yes, all of that. So the nervous system goes up, and what happens is the body goes into fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn, we could say.
Yeah, fawn is when you always say, I'm so sorry, just fix it.
People pleasing,
yeah.
Right? So, and that is exactly what the nervous system really is about. It captures all those memories. So you can imagine a child going through all of that. So when they grow up to be an adult, their nervous system will always map back to that template, okay? Mm-hmm. So what we want to do is, and it could actually look like they're shutting down, there's tantrums, there's screaming, there's being defiant, there's,
anxious,
throwing things and carrying on, because that could be the reaction to what's going on in the household.
Yeah, even aggression, emotional outbursts. What else, Nance?
Just communicating with
perfectionism.
Yeah. And their behavior is totally irrational. So what's happening is they're not being naughty. All right. Now I'm doing another course at the moment about this very topic, but with teenagers, and they really need someone so their nervous system is shot, number one.
It's overwhelmed.
Yeah. Now, can I just tell you, if your child is Gen Alpha, 2013 till now, you're Gen Alpha. Your child does not regulate like you and I did. Your child is not open to how we were raised as children is not the same as them. Even if you've got other children and they were born in previous times, obviously, their nervous system is different to the nervous system of a Gen Alpha child. A Gen Alpha child is always hypervigilant. There's too much going on. They were born with gadgets. They were born in a world that is so fast-paced.
Yeah, overstimulation all the time.
All the time. So it's different. So their nervous system is very different. It's very wired. When you do the nervous system yourself, when you calm your nervous system, when you work on your own nervous system, your child that is having this nervous, irrational behavior needs you to be calm. If you are calm and you are stable and patient, now this is really very interesting. When you are calm, stable, and patient, your child will know I'm safe. It just knows.
And remember, we mentioned earlier that you've got to be a safe space for people to be honest and open up with you and to help regulate them.
Correct. Yeah. So it knows doesn't matter what I'm doing, my mum or dad are just calm.
Or a safe space.
And I can come back here, I can decompress, I can relax, I can talk, I'm free to feel my feelings without being judged, without being told I'm naughty, without being, I don't have to go into this is subconsciously, the fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn. I don't have to do any of that. I can just be authentically me. When the child feels that, the child will come good. It's just a matter of time. The child will come good. With the practice of you feeling like your nervous system is calm, your child will then feel the same. And then, like I said before, when you hug your child and your nervous system is calm, it will pick that up. It will instantly go from being manic to calm. That's why we quite often say, if you can hug your child and bring it into your space, if you're calm, of course, you can bring that stress level all the way down. And their whole physiology changes. And they actually can tell you, I feel better.
Yeah. So the most important thing is that if we're on the other side of a person who's emotionally unregulated, is that you stay as calm as possible and you stay as regulated as possible. You speak in a very calm tone of voice. You make eye contact with the person. You have a very grounding presence about you. You actually speak softly and slowly because it's even more effective. And a very important thing is whether it's your child, whether it's a friend, whether it's, someone who you're with who might be having all the emotions flying up, is that you just be calm and present and listen and then validate their feelings, especially if it's a child. I can see that you're upset. I can see that this really hurt you. I can see this is really, hurt you deeply, or whatever the words are, but you validate their feelings. And then we have to be the ones who are consistent. So consistency is absolutely key. We have to be a safe space consistently, and this is how you become a person in someone's life who they can trust, whether that's a parent with a child, a best friend, a partner, and so on. And just remember the few tips that Nancy was saying. Hugging drops cortisol, definitely helps someone regulate. Breathing in the lower belly, and
talking softly.
Being able to name the emotion. I'm feeling this. Once you say it out loud, it helps as well. And then for adults, we just want to recommend, if you would like any help with any of this, you can contact Nancy and I. We do Love Yourself, Heal Your Life coaching, which is a 10-week program. And of course, the best of the best is the 2-day workshop. Our next one, I think, is in August. The one that we've got now is fully booked. But you can put your name on the waiting list if you want to get into our next one, which is April. No? Yes, April.
Sorry, April's booked out.
No, if you want to go on the waiting list, I said.
Oh, okay. Yes, sorry.
So the 2-day workshop is awesome. Otherwise, we're going to talk about this in a deeper level in another Coaching Corner episode. But thank you so much for being here today. And I hope you got value out of what we shared today, which was really about why you self-sabotage and why your kids play up. Just a few tips here today on how you can fix it, but there's a whole lot more.
Absolutely. So until next time, we'll see you on the Coaching Corner. Bye-bye.